Yes, sir. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
It's been a while, Rogue. How you doing, man?
No, good in yourself. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I was just talking with Papa. We said we needed to have episode 2. I don't know if this will suffice, but
No, this won't suffice.
okay. All right.
No, that's a more in-depth interview than this one. This was
Roger.
discussing all the problems we're going to see in the near future, hopefully. Maybe good or bad, I don't know.
Hopefully solutions, but yeah, I'm probably problems.
Well, thanks for coming late.
Yeah.
we've
Thanks for having me late.
We've been having guys waiting here a long time, and we're like, please, just hang on. You'll be here. And finally you got here. At least Pete joined as well, so it's a good thing. We got, you know what, it's a three-man division now.
Nice little threesome.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, let's get right into it, of course. The latest update that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so first point that they've given us is the concealment mod for the battleships. And I've kind of said something before we started with this whole podcast. We're talking and discussing it a little. And, well, personally for me, I'm not really concerned about it. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Pete, do you want to take this one, or?
I mean, I'm a battleship main in this game, and I want to know what ships are getting it. Like, I'm not concerned about it. I just want to know what ships are getting it, because some ships I think could use it. You know, like, what's GK's spotting range? You know, like
Montana's.
Montana.
My Montana's 15.3, I think.
That's absurd. That is so absurd. When you have, Ochikov 19.5 fire spammer, it's not a chance you're gonna touch him. You know,
To fully answer the question from my end, I like the idea, but I only like the idea because of how the spawns are in Legends. I think if they move the spawns back a couple kilometers, you could easily go without concealment mod on battleships. That's how I feel.
you know, like some ships like Champagne, Champagne, and I think even the campaign ship Flounder, which, dispersion aside, I think speedy battleships, Georgia, they live and die by concealment and flank. If they can't not get on a flank, they can't really do all that much unless the guys go broadside. So if you can throw a concealment mod onto your speedy little battleship and get out there to try and get some broadsides and crossfires, then I think that it would be a good thing.
Look, I get what you're saying with that concealment mod and everything, but one thing you must remember, the DD is always pushing up. So even with that concealment, the possibility of him spotting you is still there. You're getting what? You're winning maybe a kilometer if you're lucky. 2 kilometers?
It would only be certain matches I think you could exploit it.
Yes, really exploit it. I'm trying to think of a map that you might not benefit. Yeah.
Atlantic.
Yeah, kind of C-spawn.
Okay, let's just remove Atlantic. Let's just make that a point. Let's just get Atlantic out of the game. I hate Atlantic.
I do too.
And on top of it, I think we should remove capture the base from anything above tier 5, personally. I think capture the base on Atlantic it's just pure pain for me.
Well, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you're stuck. You're stuck in spawn. Or you take the long trip around Taken L Island, but
yeah. I'm trying to think of a map that maybe that what's the new, like, one of the new 3 that you can get out kind of on a flank there.
Warrior's Path?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
That's the one that looks like an explosion.
Yeah, kind of.
A star.
I think that one would be one of the ones that a flanking battleship could use rather well.
I just want to see the concealment mod go to the ships that need it. You know, like your bow tanking Iowa does not need concealment mod.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I just
So
want to see
maybe-
it go to the right ships.
Maybe the French, most definitely.
Yeah,
Italians.
French. Maybe the British, like Vanguard.
Oh, the Italians,
Mm.
yeah. That's yeah.
The Italians, sure.
Yeah, that's a workable. Okay, the next point, Kid actually receiving a defensive AA fire, which it's just like many of these mods that they give to the ships, and I don't really change my builds for specific things like this, and the kit's not too bad in my personal point of view. An AA division, defensive fire, I don't know what you guys think about it, because I'm happy with mine as it is.
I'm gonna be honest. I like the idea, but you're right. I really don't spec into AA unless I know, like if Pete is playing a carrier or something. I don't really spec into AA because you don't know if you're gonna get a carrier.
Yeah, and then it's a
Yeah.
waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I've never run defensive fire on any ship ever. It's never been activated. I've never done it. Not once.
Neither have I as well. I see it as a waste.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever run defensive fire, but I think if you're trying to meme, it could definitely be a fun meme because the kid can get either tier 5 or tier 7 carriers. And if you get a tier 5 carrier, you could probably I got hate mail once because it was in that airstrike game mode, and I just parked my kid in front of a carrier and just like melted his planes as they took off.
Ooh.
So for memeing purposes, I like it, but other than that, it's like, well, I mean, cool,
You'd be able to get a tier 6 battleship down into the 12-kilometer range with con mod on Kondo if you want to go that way, and around 13 kilometers with the tier 7s. It would make positioning with the BB effectively a little bit easier, and importantly, it will make a disengagement easy as well. That's from Xarkun about the battleship concealment. So yeah,
Yeah.
at least for that is a good point.
Yeah, that might make the Japanese a little more viable besides the Yamato. I mean, I know they're viable. I don't have that much enjoyment playing those types of battleships.
Well, the other point is they're saying that Nagata is getting a buff, as well as the Azuma. The Nagata is an over-controversial Japanese battleship that deleted enemies with one salvo. So it's getting a 29-second gun reload from the 32 seconds. As well, there's a damage boost in the AP shells from 12,600. It's up to 12,600 from the 12,100, which would make it more effective. For the Azuma, I'm quite sure it didn't say it's the Azuma. We're giving her the deluxe treatment. She's got the most buffs of everything. 7.5% shell grouping, 24-second gun reload, down from 26. HE shell damage from 5,100, 600 more, and the AP damage is up to 8,650, 500 more. However, this buffs is quite significant. They're making the AP shells ricochet at a 45-degree angle, where it used to be a 50-degree angle. So for those two ships, what's your view on those?
I think I global XP past the Nagato because it had the reputation of just being awful. I don't think I remember, but maybe one game in the ship. But the Azuma is a lot of people in the streams like seeing us in pain, so I've played it quite a few times, and if positioned correctly, it can be quite a bruiser. But hopefully, with that buff, she will be actually competitive instead of just a collectible in your port.
Yeah, I don't even have it, so
You don't have the Azuma.
no.
Teak is an
maybe-
anti-whale.
I spent $10 2 years ago, and I'm still not over it.
Well, at least there's other battleships that are also buffing, so the Azuma, in my point of view, is also not a bad ship. It's like you said there, Aaron. Positioned correctly, definitely it can be a pretty good ship to face and a fun one to play. But different maps, of course, it's map orientated. If you get the right map, you're good to go. But if you get that map that's not really fit for it, you get the worst spawn. You just busted. You won't get anywhere.
I find enjoyment playing some of those ships sometimes, but the problem is some of the games now are so dependent on either they last 5 minutes and your team gets obliterated, or they last 4 minutes and your team is doing the obliteration. And if you're on the opposite end of that and your team's getting obliterated, what are you going to do in an Azuma in a tier 7 against Yamatos and even tier 7 battleships, because it has 27mm plating all around it. So it was definitely a tough ship to play, but I think with this hopefully these buffs can make it playable. I wouldn't even say it was playable before that to a certain extent in some of these lobbies.
Well, not to be the negative Nelly over here, but just like when Des Moines got added, I mean, we've seen it, Aaron. Take 2 or 3 of the best players and put them in the best ship, and if you're down the losing side, there's absolutely nothing you can do. Like, you can fight back as hard as you want, and if your team is dead 4.5 minutes into the game and it's you 3 versus 9, it's over. Yeah.
I mean, we all know those games happen, but it's what are you going to do in an Azuma in that situation? Kite and spam it. I don't know. Yeah, but like I said, hopefully that buff makes it half playable.
I think it stems to a bigger problem, though. I think something needs to be done. Like, you can do all the balance changes you want. You can add, subtract, whatever, but something's got to be done with the game at its current state. Because, I mean, half of our games last night were 5-minute matches? Or was it more than half? It's like...
You know the reason for that? Because I do. I believe I do.
What?
And if you go back a couple of months ago, we also received a bunch of crates for playing a ship. And it happens after these crate giveaways. People jump into AI games to get the crates easier and quicker. And that actually transitions over to the standard games, if you've not noticed. It'll be like this for maybe another week.
Oh, you think people are just either one thinking they're an AI, or two just want to get their crates and just YOLO in?
No. They still got that mentality of rushing in. It'll calm down after a couple of weeks. You'll see. It'll go back to it the way it was.
Okay. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, because when you're playing AI, getting these crates, you just rush in there, kill 1 or 2 ships and jump into the next game. And I think subconsciously people are still thinking of it's still in their minds just to rush ahead. And I don't know if you've noticed it. Think back into your games this past week. How many times have you caught a DD almost coming straight at you? Still. And then he starts turning away. By that time, you kill them. Because you're it's happened.
I've seen that before this week, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I mean, it's a little bit more obvious during this past couple of weeks.
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's probably a good point.
Well, the other thing is several Italian battleships are also getting a couple of buffs. And of course, please, my French is not that good. Conte di Caviar, I hope I said that right. The main gun reload has been improved from 30 seconds down to 27. So basically getting the other stats, the other one. Top Dog Ferritio Veneto receives a quicker gun reload from the 34 seconds down to a 31. And funny enough, Roma gets the same, with HE cell damage improved from 5,100 to 5,800, as well as a smoke generator in the 3rd slot, which is quite amazing in my for the Roma at least. And the
Yeah.
planes and the secondary enhancement consumable in the 4th slot.
For Roma?
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't read that one.
Roma having that smoke, that makes her playstyle a lot different, because Roma is, and I've honestly, no joke, Citadel a GK with the Roma. Easy. Angled correctly, that ship can do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, if you hit the target.
Yeah, if you hit the target, yes.
Yeah.
Is there any accuracy buffs or anything to those? Either of those? Or any of
No
those?
Sigma changes, no, unfortunately, not that they mention. The thing is, if you don't really ask for them, they don't really give it to you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it makes it playable. Compared to, I don't know. I have a bad. I played the Roma a few times. I just did not like it.
Yeah, look, the range is not the best. But if you can close the range now with this smoke generator, it gives you that ability to close the range even quicker.
And concealment mod now, if they get that.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that, I don't know for the Roma, but for the Veneto, I wish that Wargaming would allow us to have a little bit of fun in terms of the secondaries, and maybe give us a base like 6 or 7 kilometer range secondary. Because even if you spec for full secondaries, 7 kilometers isn't that much when you have ships like Bismarck and Massachusetts. So if they maybe add all these buffs, then the Italians will be up there in terms of, meme-worthy potential, or even playable grounds. And I'm sure everyone has anecdotal evidence of a good game they've had it with SAP secondaries. I've clickbaited a few myself, but I don't know why Wargaming is afraid to let us have a little bit of fun in terms of like the secondaries, like the Flounder, or the Veneto. Just like 5, the secondary range is so stale.
So what would you see as a more, playable average range for that secondary build then?
Short of the Bismarck, maybe 9 kilometers maxed out, full secondaries, 10 even.
Yeah.
I can go for that.
It doesn't need to be like the most insane. It doesn't need to be more powerful than the main batteries, but we're getting SAP, but what's the point of SAP secondaries if you have DDs sailing around with 4.8 concealments?
There isn't many of them out there though. Not at that level, at least.
True.
Put it to 5.2 or 5.5. It's still the same concept. Yeah. I mean, I haven't even run that thing with the secondary build because you're hardly ever going to use them.
Yeah. The game is difficult in the fact that, like, if you rush in, I mean, now you might be doing okay and be with the rest of your team, but in order to get in range of your secondaries, you have to play a patient, like, cat and mouse game, and sometimes the game's already over before you can even use them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you rush in, then you get obliterated because you're the furthest one forward as half your team backs up to the back of the map, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, it also comes back to the SAP thing that they're going to be implementing for the Gorzia, the Duca, the Genova, and the Duca degli Abruzzi, getting also SAP for those cruisers, which is I don't know how you guys feel about that. As it's good for them, they need it, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be playable. Like Gorizia, it might be playable.
Yep.
It'd be certainly worth taking it out a couple times and seeing how it can do. Because it was pretty useless before SAP. Now maybe it gets SAP, it becomes a beast. I don't know.
I mean, go ahead, Rogue.
I mean, from the very beginning when they launched these lines, people were asking for the SAP. So yes, they should have put it in from the beginning. We're getting it a little later now, but again, they said there could be tweaks in the future for those specific SAPs.
Well, I mean, they figured it out on PC, so like, why couldn't they figure it out here? You know, I think their excuse was, what was it? Like, they didn't want to break the game or something.
Yeah.
It's like, have they played with the HE spam?
Did they play the Des Moines? I mean,
oh, I saw your videos. Disgusting.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. What I was gonna say though is I absolutely love it. I know it's late, and I honestly thought we were never gonna get it. To be honest, you know, the way they talk sometimes, but I absolutely love it because now the Italians, and I know the tech tree line is not getting it, I don't think, but I think they're testing it, and hopefully maybe in 2 updates we'll get it for that. But you give these ships SAP reload without SAP, and they're just, I know the spreadsheet says they're quote unquote balanced, but they're just not fun. I don't know. The Italian GIC is SAP, so they should have SAP in my opinion. Yep,
completely agree.
Yeah, that's their whole niche about that line.
Yep.
It's like taking turtleback armor away from Germans. You're gonna get stoned.
Well, it's like taking all the secondaries off the Bismarck and the Brandenburg.
Yeah.
And like, what are you left with?
A ship that can't fire straight.
A shotgun.
Yeah. Basically the JB undercover.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Well, I'm excited for SAP. I want to play it. I want to test it. I want to see
me
what
too.
it does.
Did we get a date? Is this next update? Because I said I read a few months in the sprinkled throughout updates. Did we get an official date yet?
For this one, there's actually no date stipulated on anything yet, but I believe it will be with the next update.
I really hope it is. I hope it's not like the clan announcement.
I was just about to say that, dude.
Yeah.
Because where's our training rooms? It's April. Trees are getting leaves on them. Didn't they say we're gonna have training rooms spring of this year? It's spring. Where are
spring
they?
has sprung.
Yeah, something is going on, and we don't really know what the hell's going on.
It's 75 degrees outside. Where's my training room?
And
yeah,
if you think about it, we were talking about this the other day as well, about the whole clan thing. There's so many people, they want this. They want it so much. Not just the people that are playing in clans, but I do believe it will also encourage other people to play with other people more. To get into a clan and start playing with people, it will just get them to mix a bit more, because at the moment you get a lot, and you see this every day. Just look at the sheets when you start your game and you look at the ships you're fighting against. 90% of those people are solo.
Oh yeah.
The moment clans comes out, it will be like tanks. You'll find people all over. There'll be more people playing as divisions. There'll be more cohesive communication instead of the completely disarray that you sometimes see in some of the games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you're not wrong. I think you're still going to have people who quote unquote want to have fun, and I can understand it to a certain. I can understand it from their point of view. I just don't agree with it, if that makes sense. Like if I'm going to waste my time or put my time into something, even if it's a video game, I'm going to try and at least half compete, if that makes sense. So even if it's standard, I still want to try and win, but some people don't hold that same opinion. So, but I think you're right. If you add clans, even if you add training rooms in the where you can manipulate the variables, we could run our own clan battles. You don't have to have an official clan battle from Wargaming, although that would be nice, but even if training rooms are added, we could. There's so many potentials for that.
Look, I know of a lot of people already setting up tournaments. Yes, it's not played in the same way. You're playing as a division of 3. You get a certain time period where you can upload your best game for that period of time. And between the two divisions that are fighting against each other, in that virtual time, whoever gets the most points as a team, you go through to the next round. And that's how they do it at the moment.
Isn't that on Father Mundy's website, World of Warships Builds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I know for 2 other tournaments as well that is in the works as well. And funny enough, Back to Port will also be hosting our own.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
That's Lonely Raptors, baby. He's working everything out for us. But we'll be having our own, and we have sponsors as well. Of course, our very grand Wargaming themselves. That will be sponsoring some of the prizes when we go in there. So we're thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, a little bit off the topic. I think here comes this is the very last thing, and I know why they left it at the very last. It's the big controversial news about the Weimar. I don't know if some of you guys know, but the Weimar is being moved up from tier 6 all the way up to tier 7. And of course, she'll be getting the 4th slot on the mod as well, for mods. So yes, gun reload's coming down by 12%, and I believe the guys worked it out to 3.6 second reload.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If you think that ship was a beast at tier 6, yeah, she's going to be even worse.
They're buffing it? Really?
Well, remember, it's getting the 4th slot, and that's a reload slot.
Yeah, so turret reverse reload, AA damage, or... what is the other one? I don't know.
II defense.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, because it's moving up to tier 7, it'll get that 4th slot.
Yeah, that's one of the questions that was asked, and Robin did confirm.
That's rough.
Silence.
I mean, I don't know if you want to answer this, Geek, but I've got like a whole half rant on it.
Oh, go on.
I've ran on what?
This situation.
Oh, what, Weimar going up to legendary tier?
No, tier. Well, yeah.
It's going to legendary tier. There is no more tier 7. Give me the tinfoil hat. I'll put it on right now. It's gone. Tier 7's gone, dude. I play a 7. I don't get into 6-7 lobbies. I get into legendary every time.
Yeah.
So it's going to legendary, and it's going to be absolutely completely fine. The thing has no armor. It's maneuverable, good to reload. It's quarter pin HE. It's got lots of range. It's going to melt everything within 19 kilometers.
And it's got torpedoes.
2 sets of them, right? Two sets.
Yeah.
I mean, when this thing first came out, like, I think it was Chili or somebody, like, calculated the DPM, and it was, like, absolutely insane. But when this thing first came out, like, we all made videos. We all knew it. It was broken. It was overpowered. It was the first ship that was, that was actually OP. Like, it was literally easy mode.
Yeah.
We took it, before any of this was like a thought, an afterthought, Peak and I took it into legendary tier. We divisioned with, who was it? Oh gosh, I remember who it was.
I don't know.
No, it was, oh gosh, DD. I want to drop his name, but anyway, we divisioned with the tier 7 DD, and we got drawn up into legendary tier. And granted, there was only like 3 legendary ships, but I think I had 3,900 XP in a Kraken. In a tier 6 ship. Like, if anybody can take a tier 6 ship and do that, what other tier 6 ship are you purposely getting in a legendary tier?
Yeah, I mean, and we tried it last night too.
Yeah,
like, this ship is insane, and the fact that they're giving it a reload buff is insane.
Well, I don't think it's on purpose. It's just because it falls into that category now.
I just want to know who's running the spreadsheet machine.
Probably Blip.
Well, according to the spreadsheets, somebody posted a screenshot in the Discord or from the general Discord where they said that it outperforms, and I don't know what metrics they're using, every ship except for the Ochakov, Suzuya, and the mines. So,
but again, that's in its current meta. It's not in a tier 7 meta.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and now you have to take into account that some of like the Baltimore is buffed, and I think that's because it's an American ship, and some people just have a love of, Americans obviously have a love of American ships and probably just grind them and don't necessarily know how to play them. So certain tech tree ships are probably going to have a lower than normal spreadsheet, quote unquote. But for a tier 6 ship to be beating almost every other cruiser except for those 3 is pretty nutty.
Yeah.
Well, taking into account the amount of shells she'll be able to pump out, the only thing, but I did the same as you guys, and we purposefully put her into tier 7 battles, and MVP still 3,300 XP.
Yeah.
Easy mode.
That's because it's a combination of quarter pin HE, fast reload, lots of shells, good fire chance, and then maneuverability and no armor. The best armor in this game is no armor. You cannot convince me otherwise.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I was discussing it with some of the guys in ST the other day, and I compared it to a tier 7 Atlanta, basically. That's how I see it. With better torps, with better armor.
Yeah, better penetration too.
I would say it's a tier 7 Dallas, if that's could be a thing, like the Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
Because like Cleveland is notoriously hard to Citadel. Cleveland doesn't get the range. Cleveland got nerfed to reload. What's Cleveland's reload now? Like 6 seconds, 6.5?
Base, yeah.
Yeah.
Base,
it's still Cleveland's still very strong if you know how to play it.
Oh yeah, but I don't know about you, but I think my Cleveland build only goes out like 17 on range. I want to say somewhere in there.
Mine's like, I think I have Einstein, so mine's like 15 actually, but
like my Weimar, dude, one of the builds I had on there and I ran it for a while, it was like 19 something, like upper 19, like 19.6 or something like that. Like, maybe that was with refill station, but it was disgusting. I could sit in the middle of the map on some rock and then just shoot everybody.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you can, I mean, also it's got a very good rudder shift, so you could really, if you wanted to, just keep it at 19 Ks and just kite if you really wanted.
That's why I think it's going to be so toxic.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to do fine. But what I said on, like, I said this on Facebook. I posted the link to my video about the little notes, and I said, if you can't play the Weimar at tier 7, you can't play it at tier 6. Like not that much changes. The ships are a little more accurate at tier 7. But I think it's still like it was beating up on tier 5 battleships before. Like that was just, can you imagine your first tier 5 game in like a New Mexico, you're going like 12 knots and you just see a stream of like napalm tipped shells with a quarter pen falling down on you at 4 seconds. Like, come on,
I
can, because I tried to play PC.
Well,
that's exactly what it was for me.
And besides, yes, even if it goes up to tier 7, which it will, you still got the Atlanta tier 6.
Yeah, but the Atlanta's got like what, a 12-kilometer range?
Yeah.
13.5, I think, for me.
Yeah, but see, like that's nothing.
I remember when the Atlanta first came out, I started this game like 2 or 3 weeks into that campaign, and people hated it, but it only has, I think, 1/6 pen, unless you're running EOP, of course, but then you lose fire chance.
Right.
And like Peak said, only 13.5 range. I really don't have a problem with Atlantas anymore. I actually think you have to be a more skilled player now in the current game to use the Atlanta correctly.
True.
A little bit more skilled.
I remember the first time I found out Atlanta had AP. I was in like Yanni or something. I'd never seen him shoot AP, and I didn't have the boat. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna totally get this guy. And so I like open up the broadside a little bit, and he loaded AP, and Dev struck me, and I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, if you get within 7 kilometers, that thing AP is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just citadels, left, right, and center. Well, it's the same as the Weimar. Get close range.
I was gonna say the Weimar's AP is actually pretty nutty too.
Yeah. I was playing it earlier, and I just like my idea was going in there and trying to push the ship to its limit. See how far I can push and how quickly I can push and how much destruction I can cause. And funny enough, at the end of that game, everything was dead around me. The game was won, and I was still alive, which is funny. Which would not normally happen in a different cruiser, of course.
Yeah, I don't know what the previous armor scheme or potentials were, but I feel like the most recent edition of cruisers, Gorizia, Mino especially, Mino is the main one, but they take citadels and damage how a light cruiser or cruiser should, in my opinion. So I don't know if they've switched some armor scheme or whatever, but like the Stalingrad, you know, and I think it should be like that. Now, obviously, if you're point blank in a Yamato shooting a Tier 6, obviously it should, overpen. I don't think that every cruiser should blow up immediately, but the amount of overpens you get at medium to long range from even, like heavy cruisers with medium caliber guns is what was getting kind of obnoxious. And I think they've either adjusted that or fixed it, or, I mean, it still happens, but like the Mino, for example, it blows up. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the Weimar, it doesn't. So it's like it's just overpen after overpen. So you can sell broadside, like, imagine you push that thing in and it was just overpen after overpen.
Yeah, look, I don't. What, Tier 7? What? I was thinking maybe give it a nerf. And not a lot of people are saying that, well, it's a premium ship, you can't nerf it. Even though it's going to Tier 7, it's still a nerf in a sense. Wargaming still has the right to do it if they need to, if they feel it's really needed. This is the first, well, second actually. The Kuznetsov also was given a little nerf. But this one's getting a major nerf. And people are complaining that they've, paid money for this thing, and now it's getting nerfed.
Well, first off, Wargaming reserves the right to nerf or buff any ship, premium, not premium, period. So they reserve the right. Second off, people love to complain. Like, they love to complain. They complain about everything and anything. It's kind of amazing how many people can complain about so many things in this game. Just in the last couple of weeks, I've had multiple run-ins with people on Facebook talking about the Flounder, and it's the shotgun dispersion with a full dispersion build. Oh, you just don't know how to play it. Oh, it's like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either the ship is good or it's bad.
You can't say that, dude, because some guy sometime got 150k. And
lucky him.
Therefore, the ship is good for the rest of its existence.
Yeah. Flounders, I'd rather call it failure. Well, that's just me.
I did not have a good experience with that ship.
Yeah. It's like getting the champagne with a global XP. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Wrong choice, boys.
Yeah.
Rather save it up to...
What's that?
Rather save it up.
Yeah, get the Stalingrad. Get a good ship.
If it'll be good in the near future, because we don't know what's coming next, though.
True.
There might be another 2 million one incoming. We don't know.
I sure hope so. I think, I do want to say this. I think Wargaming is either they're listening because people are leaving the game, or they're finally listening to, years of complaints or feedback in terms of the SAP and balancing changes. But I think Legendary Tier is in a half decent place right now. And I know that only a select few people have the Des Moines, but when we start seeing more and more Des Moines, we're starting to get a fair balance at Legendary Tier. I think the next step is maybe throwing out a few videos from official from Wargaming, or making it, like an introduction, like how to play destroyers and not last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know they would never do that, but they are listening in terms of adding cruisers and SAP and things like that. So for that, I'll give them a small pat on the back.
Well, that was the thing. I've said it a bunch, dude. That I don't care what ships they add. They can add Des Moines. They can add new carriers. They can do whatever. If they don't fix the problem that we have right now, and that's people not knowing how to do the basics, like stay alive past the 5-minute marker, or hit your shots at people that aren't even maneuvering. Like, Wargaming's got to do something there. Like, they've got to put out some videos to try and teach some of the player base something. They did it on PC. That's why I said they can do it here. Like, they've put out a lot of videos on PC, like how to position in caps, like how to win games, how to play destroyers and cruisers, and the differences between AP and HE. And, I'm not even talking about the deep dive where they go into like, this caliber shell can penetrate this much armor. You find this armor on this ship and this ship, stuff like that. I'm just saying just the basic stuff, because you can add whatever ships you want, but if you don't fix the basic problem right now, then it's not really going to matter.
Yeah, that's the one thing. You as a CC, you can only do that much because you've only got that small little cut of the pie. But the player base always, when they start up the game, that's the first thing they see. They don't see a CC's name, and this is something I've actually discussed with Wargaming as well. Why don't you, that very first page, why not include a CC there? Put a CC's name up there, put a link to his channel. Something to get the community to engage more with the CCs, with podcasts like us, so we can get that knowledge over to them, because you find so many people struggling in the games. When the messages, you can see it from the messages you receive sometimes. People, I got reported for hacking again today. No joke. Reported, gonna get banned. I'm like, why? What did I do wrong? And it wasn't in the way, Mar.
The CCs could help. Like, Wargaming could tell us, hey, we need to make tutorials, like, hey, we're going to push you guys' content. They don't push the content. But if you look at all the CCs, including Spartan, like it or not, he's still a CC without the benefits. He's still a community contributor to the community. You add up everyone, all the people that look up World of Warships on YouTube, which I just got 2, buddy, so I can see a lot of actual people searching for Legends. It's something like 480,000 people have looked up World of Warships Legends content on YouTube in the last 30 days. Wow. That's a lot of people. How many subs do we all have combined? What do we got? 50K combined, everyone. T-Bull, Spartan, Jordy.
Maybe 75. Spartan and T-Bull have
36.
About...
T-Bull's at 20. So there's 55. And then from there it goes down dramatically. So you could just say 60, maybe. But either way, those are a lot of overlapping.
I was going to say, it's more than that, but they're almost guaranteed to they're probably the same.
That's just the people looking up stuff on YouTube. A lot of these people, I think, that play this game don't look stuff up all the time. Maybe if they have a particular question or looking a certain ship up to research. So the CCs themselves, if we all set out and the next 2 weeks did nothing but make educational content, we would not even scratch the surface of the player base. Yeah. It has to be Wargaming that steps in, that does this stuff.
I was... Go ahead, Rogue.
There's Robin. I mean, he's doing all the trailers for World of Warships.
Robin
all the
is
trailers you
goat.
see is him. Yeah, that's the Robin. And we all know Robin's capability, his skill behind ships. He's got that potential to do this type of tutorials as well, in a controlled way, of course, because let's be honest, all those trailers footage, don't tell me that's done in a training room, boys.
Oh, training rooms are.
It exists.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna
It's there
say.
for super testers.
Yeah.
It is there. It's in the
Yeah.
live. I've had the glitch where it shows training.
Yeah, on the ocean map.
And the ocean map, yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Well-
but we don't have access to it.
Yeah.
To finish off your point, Peak, I was told by a community manager that, like, to strengthen your point, that the numbers on YouTube don't even begin to scratch the surface for the player base numbers.
Right.
So, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to like insult Wargaming or throw that community manager under the bus, but when you're told that, it's almost like it's like, well, you can do your training videos if you want, but nobody's going to see them. So you're right. It either has to be like a 10-minute like introduction to the game, and I haven't played the game in so long. I forget. I know there's like press Y or something. Like there's a basic control introduction, but maybe just a little bit more. And part of the problem is the bureau, in my opinion. Make it a grind. I'm so sick of the bureau, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, we need that, but it's not alive anymore. Because I literally have one friend, and this is no joke. He doesn't play ships as much as a lot of people because he's got a lot of work, so he's traveling a lot. He literally leaves on his Xbox on a bureau, and that's it.
Oh my god.
No joke. You always see him online, but you never play with him. That's what he does. Just to keep the game going.
Yeah. Well, maybe the Bureau is partly responsible for some of the bad gameplay we've been seeing. Because people have to go on and do 2 or 3 or 4 battles in the ships they don't like to play, and so there's 2 teammates or more gone. They're just trying to get an easy win. They don't do it in AI. They just throw it in there, you know?
I mean, it's been discussed all over. It's too accessible to newer players. Yes, you might have to wait a couple of months, but when you get it, you get it. Now you jump into this legendary tier. You're facing off against experienced players. Most of them are very experienced players, like the 2 of you. You face off against the 2 of you with a guy with almost no knowledge on that specific ship. You're going to waste him. Automatically, at that point in time, that enemy team is now at a massive disadvantage because they lost maybe a Yamato.
Yeah. Here's a fix. I can fix it for you right now, Rogue. You ready?
Go.
Give us a game mode that you have to have a certain number of stats to play. So you have to have 3,000 battles, and you have to have a 55% win rate and up. And it'll be a 9v9, controlled matches. You're not going to make any silver out of it. Like, raise the cost of the ships in this particular game mode. Not like a rank, just a standard type of thing.
But now you're not making it enticing. Why would I want to play it?
Because the gameplay there is not going to be 5-minute or less matches. It's going to be experienced players. You might have to wait for a queue. It's going to be balanced matches. It's going to be knowledgeable players, and you're going to have more competition in those matches.
Like basically clans.
No, not so much clans. Like, this could just be random players that just want to play the game, but not have either their team or the other team get wiped out in 5 minutes. Like, that is becoming so much more prevalent in the last month. These matches that are just over, instantly.
I think we had a record the other day. It was like 4 minutes and 36 seconds, right? Wow. Do you remember the number, Peak?
543 XP was the lead on their team.
That was the XP, but I'm talking about that time where that game was literally done in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I've had a bunch of them like that. I even made a video on one. I think it was 3 minutes and 45 seconds
Oh my god.
of match time play.
Damn.
Everyone was dead.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if there's a true solution. I don't want to be that super like elitist, like, you know, make all these things, but they're like everyone is saying it, and I've just stopped saying it. Like, oh, it's just another blue team. You know what I mean? Like, you will get these games, you know, every now and then, but I feel like it's 1 out of 10 games is half enjoyable, and that metric, you know, that standard will probably change if you switch from divisions to solo. We all know divisions are easier. There's more communication. You have 3 better players. But I find that's the only true way I have fun in this game anymore, is in a division. Because in a division, if you lose, 99% of the time, it's probably your fault. You know, of course, if you're, like you talked about, if you get 6 people that are AFK, you're probably not going to win, which is most of the teams you get anymore. But if you're solo, there's 8 other variables for you to account for. And sure, you can carry your butt off, but even in that situation, if your team just throws, you
there's
lost.
not much you can do. Even in the best ships, there's just not much you can do.
Yeah, you'll find yourself against a map border or just dying just because you're bored.
Yeah. Yep. To me, the only solution is a game mode outside of standard. High cost to play, skill requirement and stats to play. There you go. That's the only solution I see to this problem.
It's a good idea, but I'm looking at, and I'll think what Wargaming would want to say to you is be like, we don't want to split the player base. That's what they would like, probably say about that point. Yeah, it's like the same thing about, I think, why we're still waiting for clans is because they feel the moment they introduce clans, training rooms, all that stuff, queues are going to increase because the clans would be out of the main picture.
Absolutely. And I get it, but if you don't keep your players happy, you lose the game.
Yeah. I think if
willing
you
to argue that they've been going down in numbers recently.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'd like to see, though. I've not seen that, or I've not gotten that information yet, so I don't know what the player base is really doing. You know.
I think somebody said, I think it might have been Peak, I don't know if it was, somebody said, like, with all the new games, Elden Ring, even Battlefield 2042, as awful as it is, and even the straight boredom, I think that they're losing a good chunk. I know the Des Moines has probably pumped that back up, but with all the new games coming out, I think that they've seen it decline.
Yeah, I actually made a joke in the official Discord a couple of days ago, saying that, well, the player base wanted the Yamato at the very beginning. They got the Yamato. Then they wanted the Des Moines. Now we got the Des Moines. What's next?
A year and a
Subs?
half later, though.
Subs, oh man, don't even joke.
Dude, remember they said CVs will never come to the game. Remember? They did.
They did say that. I have somebody was like arguing with you on Facebook. They're like, they always planned for them to come. And I have a post, it was like from Takane at the time. It was like, we have removed AA stats as we do not plan to, it's like, because, you know, we do not plan to add carriers at this time. And they always say that. So, you know, how much can you believe it? But
well,
it's like,
you can't look at the CMs. They don't have any control on anything.
Yeah.
The CMs they've got the worst job out of everyone here. The CCs get to play the game, complain about it, complain to the CMs. The CMs take the complaints to the devs. The devs say, we don't care. They go back to the CMs, and then and then everyone like points to the CMs, the community managers, as like, why are you guys letting subs come into the game? They're like, we don't have any control over it. But everyone's got to point at somebody. The CMs are the highest up on the food chain that you can actually reach out to and complain to. Nobody knows who the devs are.
Well, one of them was on a stream once, but yeah.
Yeah, but what's his Discord?
That's
what's his Reddit name? Like, nobody can complain to him.
You won't find it because the complaints will be rolling in.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, Ghazi had a good point though. The game is stale. That could be a big reason why people are leaving. It's just stale because I'm experiencing it. Sure, Des Moines fun, but now the fun's fading off, and I'm back to like playing the same old ships, and it's just the same old maps and the same old teams, and maybe like leave Arena in permanently as a game mode. Like, give me some variety in my life. I'm not going to play AI as my variety. Give me something fun, you know?
I think that's where training rooms save the day, but that's just me personally. Like,
absolutely.
So not to boost ourselves or mainly you, but you average like 150 to 200, every other night, maybe less some nights. Imagine if we could get half of our members or subscribers or anybody in these games where like we set up like Japan versus USA or Germany versus England. Or 9 Mikasas versus, 2 Yamatos or something like that. That would gain so much viewership and just allow us to release this boredom, because we played Peak. We played 4 games last night for an hour, and we said, let's go to Battlefield. Let's go to Battlefield 1, which is a 7-year-old game. And I think I had more fun on that.
Yep.
And I love Legends. I don't want to see it like degrade like this, but it's a lot of people are thinking it and saying it.
Yeah, with the training rooms, it opens your window of being able to produce a lot more variety of content, especially. You're no longer limited to one single thing. You can now make it something completely different, involve the people a bit more. That would definitely help.
Yeah, we could do specialized training videos then. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I plan on doing this. I don't think I've talked to you about it yet, Aaron. But like maybe first Friday of every month, I was going to do Fight Club, and have like a $10 into balloons or something for the winner of it. But do Fight Club and bring in like 30 of your good buddies and let them fight it out for like 3 or 4 hours, and just like a tier system, like a tournament. All the way down to see who can be the last 2, and whoever wins that gets the $10 or something. Fight Club.
Training room or
in training rooms. 1v1.
Okay.
Like pick your ship, Fight Club, and if you die, you get knocked out.
Well, I
if
mean,
you win, you go on.
You just broke the first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah, but
and
gotta get the word out there somehow.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Fight Club.
Well, something else you can also maybe try is bring all the CCs together, of course.
Oh, we'll have PlayStation versus Xbox CCs, and we know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Xbox. Sorry, guys.
Xbox number 1.
Sorry, Xarkun.
Yeah. A funny thing is we were having this discussion with a couple of friends, is that a lot of Xbox players say the PlayStation players, the moment you open the list of people playing on your team or the enemies against you, you look and see, well, it's mostly PlayStation, so we're going to lose, guys. And the ratio, and this is something we discussed, and it was, there's, let's say, 100,000 Xbox players in the game. There's 1 million PlayStation players playing the game. So if you talk about 10% players are bad of PlayStation and 10% players of Xbox is bad, it's the same ratio. It's just that there's more players on the PlayStation console. That's all.
I think that's actually
you'll
been
see
confirmed.
them.
Confirmed by the CMs.
What, that PlayStation's worse?
No. That has been, yes, confirmed. No, but I think there are more PlayStation players, like you said.
Oh, yeah. Remember, there's way more PlayStation consoles out there in the world than Xbox.
Well, I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but when PUBG got crossplay with PlayStation and PlayStation came into Xbox lobbies, there was something called PUBG Lookup, and you could see who is who in games, Xbox, PlayStation. You could break down the stats between Xbox, PlayStation, KD, kills, time alive, stuff like that. Yikes.
Yeah. What was the verdict?
It was like 99% of PlayStation players were dead in the first 5 minutes of a 25-minute long game.
Ooh.
There's, for the record, we're not saying there's a difference. It's just, I think Rogue stated it very eloquently. The ratio is the same, but there's more PlayStation players.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't doubt that. Well, that's because Sony had... Remember, it was free to play? Like, you could play games like online.
Yeah, the live,
$5 a year is free. For however much live is anymore. $60.
Yeah. I'm going up.
Yep. Insane inflation.
Well, guys, we're getting close to our time. We've got to end it sometime, you know. I don't know if you want to, but we have to end it.
Well, I could complain about Legends all night. I'm gonna start my stream. And
let's start up a stream and let's push.
I'm kind of curious what Xarkun's take on all this we've been talking about is.
Yeah.
You want to get him in?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be curious of his viewpoint from some of the stuff we said.
Xarkun is usually a little more reserved and eloquent, so yes.
He is, isn't he?
Get in here, Xarky.
Is he raising his hand? What's the little icon?
Yeah.
That's not him raising his hand. That's me pushing it to him.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second so I don't have to do this on my phone. Let me plug in a decent mic to my PC.
You sounded a little bit like the guys from Men in Black, the little bugs.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, he left.
No, I think he's just changing to his PC. Well, let me stop the stream there, and we'll get Xarkun in, and we can discuss it even further. If the other people want to stay together. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure these guys want to hear Xarkun's point too.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, one thing I can also say, a lot of people think that I'm biased towards wargaming, which I'm not. I'm kind of neutral, but I'm logical in everything that I'm trying to say or do. It's like anything that they've brought in or changed in the game since the very start, I've always taken with a small little grain of salt and said, you know what, I don't give a crap, I'll just play the game as usual. And I have, and it's been working out for me perfectly. So all these fancy changes, yes, it's the one thing that I bought. Quite unhappy, but I understand. It's reasonable. It's an OP ship. And there's Xarkun back.
I'm going to be honest. The reason I'm indifferent is kind of like you.
I audible? I can't.
Oh, there he is.
Anybody.
You are audible.
Hello there.
Guten Tag.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Does my mic sound okay?
Sounds okay. You're a little quiet though.
Maybe I can turn it up.
Just deep throat the mic, that's all.
Just move it a little closer.
So what are your opinions, Xarkun, on what we were talking about with the player base and the 5-minute matches, and what do you think about all that?
I think it's a free-to-play game, and there's a lot of casual people. Like, just the fact that we're all here, or that anybody who's here in the audience is on Discord interacting with other people about World of Warships Legends, you know? I think it's a free-to-play game. There's a lot of casual players. They're just logging on for a few games here and there, and I think you're always going to have that with a free-to-play game, and I think that is a big chunk of the reason why there's some of the issues you guys were talking about, and not only that, but it's very easy for new players to get their way up to a tier 7 ship fairly quickly, you know? And then with the whole bureau thing, you're essentially just biding your time until you get one of the strongest ships in the entire game, and all you have to do is wait for it. You don't really have to play. There's a lot of problems. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but
Let's hear them.
I mean, that's to start off with it. I don't know what else.
Do you think there's any way that you can fix these matches? Because I don't know if you heard what Aaron said. We played 4 games last night, went to Battlefield 1. The night before, we probably played for 3 hours, probably played something like 12 or 15 games, and most of our games were just washes. So like in the 3 or 4 hour span of playing the game, like I'm lucky to have 2 or 3 matches that are to the end of the timer, where people are still alive and still fighting and going back and forth and trying to play a little bit more competitively than some of the other ones. Is there any way to fix the 5-minute matches and everyone dying in 5 minutes?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think part of that is the casual approach that a lot of players are going to have with a free-to-play game like this, Certainly they could do things like, I don't know, up the service cost for when you're playing legendary tier ships. Not to sound like an elitist or anything, but like you should be doing fairly well to make a profit or even break even when you're taking those ships out. They're not the ships you should be playing constantly if you're like a brand new player with less than 1,000 games, that kind of thing. They could up the service cost. They could do away with the bureau completely and add the legendary tier ships onto the ends of tech trees like they've done on PC with the tier 11 super ships. They just put them right onto the end of the tech tree. You gotta grind in order to get one, and even when you do grind to it, it takes more XP than it takes to get to a tier 10 ship, and it costs like 50 million silver or 50 million credits to even buy one of those. So that's a lot of playing in the game that you have to do, in order to get one of the highest tier ships. I think they need to do something similar in Legends, especially for the legendary tier. I mean, you should have to grind to get one of those ships, because essentially they're tier 8 ships,
Right.
True.
I think at the very least in the Bureau, you should have to have the tier 7 tech tree equivalent unlocked. And I know they would never implement that, but for example, the Yamato, you have to at least have the Yamagi unlocked. And that's like such a very simple thing. And I know that's not going to improve much, but that would, it's like, didn't we see a post? It was like, I only have the Kamikaze. What are your guys' builds on the Shima? And it's like, oh,
yes,
dude.
I've seen those.
Oh, and that's that's the guy YOLOing around the edge of the map to dev strike the carrier in Shima while you're down 4 caps and 4 ships.
There's something that Rockstabber is saying. You need to grind to learn how to play the legendary tier ship. With you saying the way that you should earn the ship is by having the tier 7, but not just having the tier 7, having put a certain amount of elite XP into the ship before it unlocks.
Yeah, exactly. Put it at the end of the tech tree and make it a researchable ship, just like all the other tech tree ships. I mean, that's what most of the legendary tier ships are anyway, except for the Alaska and the Stalingrad. Those are premium ships, but the Yamato, the GK, Des Moines.
buy the
Minotaur.
Stalingrad.
Hmm.
Because then that would force you to play a ship that's very similar, you know, that can be punished if not angled correctly, teaches you, because by the time you have 2 million, or let's say it's 1 million, or whatever the number is, like if you have to play the Riga a lot before you can even touch Stalingrad, you're gonna learn a lot about how to play that ship. Angles, lead times, you know, your radar, maneuverability.
I mean, my like original idea was to have like 100 wins, like in the Amagi or the Riga or something, before you could unlock that. But I just know that Wargaming would never do that. So that's kind of why I said at the very least. But again, we know they're not going to do that. I think the best solution that is still potentially money making, because you could buy credits or not have enough credits or buy global, is to have it like tech tree, make it tier 8. But even then, I don't think they'll do that, because the Bureau is just a drip bleed of doubloons for certain people.
For sure.
I just think it's a really interesting concept, you know, because I don't think the player base is, just talking about the average player, is going to try and make themselves better unless they watch somebody else do it better consistently. And they go, damn, like, that guy's getting, you know, 3k base XP every time he plays the Conqueror. Why can I not do that? You know, unless they see somebody do it better, then they want to get better. Or the alternative to that is you force them to learn by putting an elite XP on a similar ship like Riga Stalingrad. You force them to play Riga, they learn how to play Riga, they can play Stalingrad. I don't know what the solution is, but it's an interesting idea.
Definitely an interesting one. It's just we know Wargaming will never fall for that type of idea, because it's taken away that enjoyment that they feel the players should have, especially a new player. And this is one thing Tikon touched on a couple of times, is where he says a new player should feel the power of that specific ship, which in turn makes him want to play more. For us, it's a different story. You do it for content and for enjoyment and for competitive play, where other people just come from work, sit on the couch, or come from school, sit on the couch and play a couple of games, then jump over to something else.
I agree with you, Rogue, but I have a video of Peak, myself, and Chili eliminating a Conqueror in 1 minute and 15 seconds in the game. How much? I mean, I'm not trying to insult this person, but like, how much power did? You know what I mean? Like, did he have fun? Like,
no.
So I understand what you're saying, but like, they want to feel the power of a ship, but if they have no idea how to play it, or position, or what to do, or how much enjoyment are they having? You know what I mean?
How about this?
Yeah, no, of course.
How about this? If you give a kid something, they can appreciate it, they'll like it, but if you make them earn it, then they understand the value of it more, right? So like, if you put something behind a wall and you have to grind to get it, when you unlock it, when you get it, you appreciate it more because you put in all the effort to getting it, right?
Well, yeah, and isn't that part of the appeal of video games like this, that you
the grind,
you know, for a
Mhm.
reward, and then you feel a sense of accomplishment after having completed that grind and obtaining the reward, you know?
I mean, I think a lot of the games out there, that the thing that gets people into it is the grind. Imagine playing Skyrim and starting out with a max level everything. Everything's level 100. You have nothing to unlock. You have no grind. What do? Play through the storyline and then that's it? Or like Minecraft. Imagine starting in Minecraft and having 3 chests full of 64 stack diamonds. Okay, well, I don't need a mine. Like, what do I do? You know? The grind is important.
Yeah, Hustle is
Yeah.
saying, Daddy Peak teaching us parenting lessons.
What?
Daddy Peak teaching us parenting lessons.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good concept, but I understand what Hustle is saying as well. Now they've got that parenting thing, you have to do this before you can get this, and maybe that's why they think that the player base being couch potatoes like we all are, we don't really want to grind that much. We want things easy.
There's a reason that they keep going back to like tier 3 for ranked and arena and stuff like that. Nobody wants tier 3
True.
in anything, but they want to include all the new players that probably don't have a tier 6 or 7 yet. Stop! Like, quit doing that, Wargaming. We want tier 6, tier 7, legendary. We want the accurate ships. The ships that have some speed. Like, we want the good stuff. All right, we don't want the table scraps. We want the T-bone, cooked medium rare, on an open fire. Like, we don't want the canned beans that aren't even warmed. We want the good stuff. But they want to include everybody, and I don't know that.
You know,
Yeah,
can I
Like good for everyone else.
Can I ask you guys a question that's sort of unrelated to this, just because what I see Hustle has typed in the chat that the real grind is the commander system? About the commander system, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And what are your guys' thoughts on the proliferation of premium commanders that this game has seen over the past several years with Azure Lane and, Transformers and all those kind of things?
I did a whole video on it. I think it's okay, but there's just we're getting to the point, and I think Tactic said this very eloquently and with a lot better grammar than I did. But we're getting to a point where just overlapping commanders, which are, and some of them are pay to win. I don't have too much of a problem with it. Again, maybe because I get half of them for free, up to rank 12, legendary 2, or whatever we get them at now. And I know it's a source of income for them. It's just, I think there's too many. I don't know. Let's
look at it from my point of view. I have what I want. I've got my Sims at 16.4 for the Americans. I've got my Scott at like 16.3. Doesn't really need to go to 16.4. My Ivan for Stalingrad and the Russian cruisers, he's 16.4. Who else do I need to make high level? Nobody. And it's been that way forever. I think my Kuznetsov 16.4. And it's like, now what? I mean, they can bring in new commanders, whatever. Maybe you get one little cool perk on that commander, but like, it doesn't really change that much. So I've got 28 million commander XP. I've got 1,500 promotion orders, and I've got I don't know how many insignias just sitting there. Like I really don't need to put it into anything.
Well,
what do I put it into?
Okay, you're not. You're one of the few who plays like the same build, the same ship, like exclusively. And that's coming from someone who hasn't changed his Baltimore build in probably 2.5 years. I want to know what you think, Xarkun, because I know you explore builds a lot more than I do. But I think we're starting to get too many.
Yeah, well, how long have I been playing this game now? For 3 years? I do not have any of... Well, I have some commanders. I only have one at rank 16.4 because I do mess around with builds a lot, and the resources are so scarce. They're like artificially scarce, I would say. 3 years, I feel like I should have all my commanders at 16.4. So I think the way the resources are doled out. I think it's too
slow.
scarce.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I look at my German commander roster, and I'm pretty sure there are more fictional commanders in it than there are free historical commanders, you know? And you have to pay for these people, and some of them, at least the earlier ones, are really, really good, like Hyde and Azerlane Nelson, because they can offer you the battleship accuracy builds with the master mechanic skill for the extra heals, so that sort of survivability can offset the downsides of like flammable cannoneer, you know? At least I kind of think it does. And
Right.
it doesn't sit well with me that these are locked behind a paywall, but even that would be okay, I guess, if if they weren't so scarce. It's not like you can go out and buy Hyde right now if you want to, or Azerlane Nelson or any of those. And I don't like that kind of thing. And I also don't like this situation that we have with Azerlane Littorio being the only accuracy commander for the Italians and being a premium, and by the way, not available any longer. You know, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, you kind of have to wait another year for it.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Well,
I think somebody brought up
the collaborations. Sorry, Aaron, but it's the collaborations, I'm pretty sure. Like, they have a license for an X amount of time. So that's why they can offer, like, Scharnhorst or whoever for X amount of time. And
yeah,
then
I think
they
that
can't.
is the case.
So I think that's why they come and go like that.
I think somebody has a screenshot of somebody saying that like commanders are like nearly exclusively a source of income or revenue for them. So I think that's a huge part of the reason. I don't really agree with it, but
well, I think Flamu was talking about it. I think it was pretty sure it's Flamu, and he was talking about the Azerlane stuff. And he mentioned something that Wargaming, when they did the Azerlane stuff, they had a contract with them, and then they turned right around. Do you remember the skin for the Congo? Whatever weed green that is. Apparently that was like Azerlane's direct competitor. And Flamu said that the whole Azerlane deal got pulled off the table. And this might be for only PC, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure we have that here in Legends as well. So I don't know if that's off the table or not.
Yeah, it's like the collab with Viva la Dirt League. It was not just for Legends, it was also for the whole of World of Warships. The whole. PC included.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any of their videos? I actually like one of them. It's really funny.
They're a very good group. I mean, we've been, and I'm saying this now with everyone here, I don't care. We've been trying our butts off to get these guys on one of the podcasts.
Oh, that'd be epic.
It'd be epic. Viva la Dirt League. But getting to them is a lot more difficult. I think I can get to the United States president easier than getting to these guys.
You got to think, if they're that big, they're probably getting hit up by a ton of people too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, a lot of their gigs, they, of course, there's money involved, so they do it for cash. They're a very popular group, and their message that they do, especially with the recent ones where they do mind, people having problems, with mental illnesses. They had a huge campaign with that as well. So they're very open and knowledgeable, but they're so busy. These guys don't have time. They've got managers, four managers to get to the other managers. So it's a massive line to get through to them. And we've unfortunately been unable to get through to them and get them on the podcast. Even it's now been 21 days, I think.
Let me call my agent. Let me see what I can do.
This is the wonderful thing. I knew we had to discuss these patches and everything, and I was like, damn, who can I talk to? It's like, there's one man that I can trust that will be truthful and be open and honest in his opinions. And it's like, Aaron, can you be on the podcast? And it was literally, no joke, this was organized, Aaron, in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, this morning actually.
Well, this morning for me, I guess mid-afternoon for you.
Evening, the following day now for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I try to be with all my reviews and everything, and even my channel. Like I'm not perfect. I complain, I lose, I get frustrated, but I just kind of tell it how it is for the most part. I don't really BS. I think a lot of the CCs are like that, but I just I look at it from like if I was a consumer spec point, and I also understand Wargaming's point of view in a lot of situations. So I try not to play both sides, just right down the middle.
I would say most of the CCs are like that. Are there?
I mean, there's a few who will refuse to say there's a bad ship out there.
Oh, there are certainly bad ships out there. Champagne.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Did everyone hear that? Champagne? Did I do a video of me selling that? Okay, good. Just wanna... Yeah, no. A lot of the CCs are like that, but I feel like I just lay it on the line.
Tiger 59.
Yeah, definitely Tiger 59. Thank you, Hassel.
Yeah, okay.
Is Hive in here? Uh-oh.
I know somebody who likes the Tiger 59. Thinks it's real good.
Mm-hmm. I know. We all do.
Hold on. If we're moving Weimar to tier 7, can we move Tiger 59 to tier 5?
I was thinking tier 3.
Now that's a little extreme. How about cut the difference tier 4?
Okay, tier 2 it is.
Yeah, that's actually a good battle, an Omaha versus a Tiger 59.
I would take the fucking Omaha.
I probably would too.
Like all day I would take the Omaha. It's not even close.
Yikes.
So, I also did something very disrespectful yesterday and played my Percival 10 times. And yeah, back-to-back wins in my Percival.
That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Just carry.
Wait, what did you do?
I played the Percival 10 times in a row. Yeah, and won 10 times in a row.
Because the best carrier.
No. Yeah.
Yes. No.
Did you have any? Were you in a division or anything, or just straight solo? There you go.
So it needs to go to legendary tier. I'm sorry, I need to say this.
It already is in legendary tier. What are you on?
Nope. Permanently.
It is permanently in legendary tier.
No, it's not. It needs to face minimum 2 Des Moines.
Brother, I will give you
And a
my
Minotaur.
account. You can log in and play my parcel 10 games in a row on my account and tell me it's not in legendary tier.
You see, do you know why you get that ratio? Pete?
I'm assuming it's
There's
stat.
a reason. Yes, your stats are too high. Play worse.
No. I've heard another conspiracy theory that it's your commander. It's your commander that will potentially throw you again with people who have due at 5.
I don't think that's right because my Parsifal commander's not high.
Do you remember when you put Kurita on your Yamato and you had laser beams?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Well,
track Yamato.
You can't really take that because look at some of the content creators out there. They do the count-ins. You get a lot of, and sometimes you get that where your whole chat is within that one game.
Yeah, but you know what usually happens as someone who does it all the time? What usually happens is the bad players end up on your team, everyone counting in ends up on the other team, and then you get focused and wiped off the map in 7 minutes.
true. I joined accounting today. Poor guy.
I don't think any of that is true personally. And the reason is I don't give that much credit to Wargaming. I don't think their matchmaker could handle that advanced of calculations in the short amount of time.
I don't know if any of that's true about the matchmaking, but I do kind of suspect something about what Hustle is saying in the chat about using the non-accuracy battleship commanders on your battleships and suddenly they're shooting laser beams. I kind of wonder if there's something wrong with like the skills that buff the dispersion or something, and at some point you get like diminishing returns, and then when you remove those skills, the dispersion is sometimes better. I don't know.
I mean, I've said that for a while. I don't think commanders or inspirations stack correctly.
Well, you did notice the announcement that came through a couple of days ago about the CVs restoration perk mod, where it was supposed to minimize your restoration by 15%, and what the mod, when you equipped it, actually did, plus it by 30%. So you were waiting way longer than you should have to restore your planes, which for CVs is a bad thing, of course.
Yeah.
So there could be other things in the pipeline that people don't really know about or they've not picked up yet. That could be wrong.
I've said it for literally ever that I do not think your commanders stack correctly for dispersion. It does not make any sense to me pre-Yamato nerf. Pre-nerf, that I'm getting dispersion that is all over the map with basically max dispersion build. And then I take Kurita, the fucking Shima captain, and throw him on there, and I've got twist and track, 14-kilometer range, and I'm shooting laser beams.
Sharks with laser beams.
There's like no good way to test any of that either. You would need to set up like, what you guys were talking about earlier, training rooms. You'd need to experiment and just shoot over and over and compare with, dispersion builds versus non-dispersion builds. And there's no real way to even test any of that. So we do need training rooms.
Well, Aaron said this before me, but I think the reason we haven't had training rooms, we don't have training rooms, and the reason they're not talking about giving us training rooms is because day one training rooms come out. I know myself, I'm pretty sure Aaron's going to do it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are going to do it. They're going to go straight to training rooms and sit there and fire 200 rounds at one target, broadside 10 kilometers, and then change up their build and try it again. And they're going to take all those stats, and they're going to go, please explain.
Something's wrong. Yeah.
Does Jajard actually create more overpins? Even though you say it's not supposed to.
That was going to be my number one, was Yamamoto on cruisers.
And I've got him on my cruisers.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to be like fair and honest, but like I think that's part of the reason we don't have training rooms is we would find 5 bugs in the first day.
Yeah, it opens up the possibility of even more hate.
Yeah, major issues. I don't know, but I'm tinfoil hats on.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, Brian already posted it.
Yeah,
pointy side up. I just need to remember that.
Yeah, and who knows? There could be all kinds of bugs that we aren't even aware of. Like, if you follow PC content pretty closely, because I do, I watch, like, pretty much everything Flamu puts out, And it seems like they're discovering bugs there all the time, even bugs that have been there since the beginning of the game, like the high DPM ships they had on PC. There was some sort of bug with, like, the ping on the server or something like that. And did you guys see that?
Like the sub 2-second reload or whatever.
Yeah, they call it something. It's not the refresh rate. It's the
server. I thought it was server tick rate.
It is. Yeah, tick rate. Yep.
Yeah, and something like that. Like that's been there since the game began, presumably, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, but is
yeah,
there
you
a way
could
to
only
really fix
imagine.
it?
So Flamu talked about this. Legends and the PC game, they both run on the same engine. They run on a World engine. And the World engine is like from 2002.
Oof.
It's like one of the oldest ones out there. And that was kind of the big controversy when they fired everyone in Russia. Now they're extending invitations when they're taking this company to a new location to bring a handful of people along that actually know how to operate and work on this World engine, because it's so antiquated that the people, other game studios wouldn't know how to work on it because
Yeah,
it's that old.
That is insane, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe that, but it's true.
I think overall it's still a very great game. I just think we're all, after playing 15,000 battles personally, I think we're going to experience some of these issues. But to Wargaming's credit, this entire podcast is based off them potentially answering some of those issues and making adjustments to things that are greatly needed. But I feel like it's a little too late personally in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm happy for these things because I'm going to continue to play Legends, but it's like, when was the first Italian line release? At least a year ago? I have no idea.
A year and a half, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so for them to get SAP at that, I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about it.
Been a long time coming.
I don't understand putting SAP on the Italian cruisers. How many people actually bought those? I mean, like,
the premiums.
Yeah, they should have put it on the tech tree line to begin with. I mean, they balanced the Montecuccoli. That's the best example I can think of. Why the hell does that thing have a 15-second reload on 152mm guns when you've got the Königsberg with basically the same size guns running around with an 8-second reload? Because it was balanced for SAP, which doesn't exist. Makes absolutely no sense.
Yep.
I
Said that.
I think the initial testing would be just for these premium ships, and then afterwards to bring it onto the tech tree ship.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
Yeah. I think
just to get the data.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case, but how much testing are you going to get? Like, how many people bought these ships, I mean, I don't think I did not give the Abruzzi a very good review. I don't think anybody else did.
No.
I wasn't too hot on the Gorizia. I mean, I think it's okay. I kind of like the Duca, but I think that just might be because of its tier placement. But yeah, these ships are like not very good.
I said the Abruzzi is very, very good at being the worst tier 6 cruiser in the game.
That's true. That is true. It's very
until
good
the Gorizia without any torps and a 15-second reload made it into the game. Then there's a pretty good competition.
The reload. I just don't understand the reload, dude. And I laugh when Rogue, you were reading out the patch notes. I was kind of laughing to myself. Oh, this battleship gets a 34 to a 31-second reload. Oh my god, that's going to break the game. It's still going to be a turret. Well, it's going to be a turret that fires 3 seconds faster,
Look at the Brandenburg. It's got exactly the same guns as the Odin, but the Odin reloads in what, 19 seconds?
Well, okay, the Brandenburg is uniquely
like
terrible. The Brandenburg's terrible, but it's fun to play because it's got so many secondaries and they're so accurate and so long range. Dude, when a DD pops up within 6 kilometers, you can shoot at him, but you're better off to select primary target and hit your butt. That's going to do more damage than your main guns.
Yeah.
True.
Why does it, I mean, I'm sure this is anecdotal, but why does it feel like the Brandenburg is the only ship that secondaries that actually hit what you're aiming at? Is it the sheer volume, maybe, or
the mass is kind of that way, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
They would give the German secondaries the parameters they're supposed to have, though.
Like the 1/5 pin, I think.
The quarter pen.
Oh,
that's what they're supposed to have.
Yeah, it's running at 1.6, if I'm not mistaken.
Because they can't pen like DDs, right?
Yeah, I think they buffed the smaller ones recently. I think they buffed them so that they can pen destroyer armor, but they should just have the quarter pen. I mean, that's the secondaries are like the selling point of those ships, and they've defanged them to a large degree by removing that penetration from them, because if they had that pen, they'd be doing a lot more consistent damage and they'd be a lot more useful.
It's
Yep,
just
I agree.
for us couch potatoes, so we don't roll over the incompetent DD player.
Maybe it
By
is
accident.
that I thought I saw them say something along the lines of, like they don't want to make secondaries too powerful because you're not controlling them manually or whatever. But like, okay, give me a break. Everybody knows how hard it is to push in a battleship in this HE spam stealthy destroyer meta we have. Even pushing your battleship into a position where you can get the secondaries to fire, that can be difficult. And I don't see why you shouldn't be rewarded for that. And plus, you've got CVs running around, and all you've got is your automatic anti-aircraft gunners to shoot at those planes. So, like,
Yeah.
And then you get like battleships that have half the range they do on PC, like the Flander and the Veneto. I don't know the Veneto's range on PC, but it's like 5 kilometers. So you can't even
7.6.
Well, with the full build,
Yeah.
it's like 5 bays.
the Veneto's range. I just got that ship last night on PC.
For the life of me, for the absolute life of me, I know why we don't have it, and that's because someone in the dev team is being super lazy and not forethinking anything. That's why we didn't have the ability to turn your AA off for a year with carriers. But like, why do we not have priority sector AA? Like, we have an open button in the command wheel. Like, we use A, B, and Y, right? Or AXB. Like,
Yeah.
why? There's another button there. Like, I could look to my left and I could bow up the wheel and I could turn on priority sector AA. How's that not a thing?
The only thing is, like, if you're turning on the priority sector AA, it's going to be on one side of your ship, either the port or the starboard. So
Right.
how do you make it, like, I guess maybe if the camera's looking to that direction,
The
then
exact same thing it is on PC.
Like
You look
that?
to the left, you hit it, and it runs
Yeah.
for 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Why wouldn't they just add that when they
Why?
made this change
Yeah.
to the command wheel?
Why? I don't know. I can only assume it's because they
You could-
don't forethink it.
I mean, you could
Or
also
they might
like,
not want it.
that's probably the more correct answer, but I feel like if you open that up and then press whatever button, then you could literally press like, okay, now select left trigger, right trigger. I know that's kind of a lot of sequence of buttons for the average player base, but
But there is a button open in the manual
yeah.
secondary target, in the turn your AA on off. There is an open button that you could put.
Yeah,
They need
yeah,
to
you're not wrong.
They need to fix some things about that command wheel, though, because it drives me nuts when I point the camera at like a cap circle, and I want to ping the cap, and it's like,
Oh God.
protect the friendly battleship 5 kilometers away from the
Yeah,
cap. No,
Yeah.
I don't care about the battleship. I don't. I want the cap.
I've almost had an aneurysm a few times trying to ping the base.
I hate to tell you, but they're never going to change that.
Yeah, there's
It'd be
nothing you
such
can
an-
do.
They're
It'd
not.
be
Gonna,
such an easy fix, but yeah.
they're not going to spend the time. That's like
Also-
the lowest priority on your list.
The command again, back to the command wheel. When you're making a turn and you press the command wheel to lock your guns for a drive-by, it stops your turn.
Yeah, that drives me insane too.
See, I don't know. Maybe I'm used to it. It doesn't catch me off the guard that much. But I use left bumper overview camera to lock my guns. I've always done that. And so,
Yeah, I
like,
know, but now we have access to gun lock. I do the same thing, and you can still turn. Yes, but Wouldn't it be a nice?
Gunlock.
Okay, gunlock is now available in the command wheel.
I know, but like that's the thing. You open the command wheel, it cancels your turn. If you use overview camera, it is gunlock if you're not locked to a target.
But even
cancel your wheel.
Have you ever used command wheel to like ping something while like in the middle of a turn? Regardless, it doesn't have to be gunlock. But I'm just saying for the example of drive-bys.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm good about. I'll do this quite often, dude. Like if I'm in a left turn or if I'm turning left and I go to ping something, like I'll sit there and flick it left until I'm done pinging, just to make sure my rudder stays engaged.
Yeah.
So like, but that's just me, and that's force of habit. So that's why I haven't really been caught with my pants down with the whole command wheel cancel turn thing.
My first day with the gun lock, because I use controller preset 5, which doesn't have gun lock. I pressed LB and then X to lock the guns, and it's RB and X. So I switched ammo type in the middle of a drive-by and got like amped or something.
Damn.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Or V4 CV only. Oh boy.
Who said that? Banned right now.
It's Rockstabber. But actually be good. It might be fun. Something different. Completely different.
Speaking of that, the CV thing, I thought the Kaga was a piece of shit carrier. You know what that thing is good for? Carrier sniping, bro. Carrier sniping.
Yeah.
You think I'm lying? It's only happened to me once. But an enemy Kaga, I was in a Parsival, and he came after me off the rip. He came after me with torps, right? Well, he lost his whole squadron, but I lost half my health and burnt the damage con.
Ooh.
He came back after me immediately with torps. He dropped me again. He killed me with a flood. Like, he took all of my health, like 99% of my health in 2 drops, and I was permaflooded and died to flood.
Yeah, that's the only problem with that hop.
I'd be pretty mad.
But that's like, I never thought about that, but that's like big brain tactics, dude, because he removed me in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you had your team for the rest of the 10 minutes. I've been targeted like that a couple of times as well by Kaga this week. I think it was Monday. The same thing happened to me. Well, I was lucky I didn't get deleted. The vision mates.
I didn't really like the Kaga all that much. I have it on PC, and it's a lot better on there. Actually, I got not dev struck by one, but I got absolutely demolished by one in my Schlieffen last night on the PC. Because, well, you see the lemming trains in Legends, they are also very much alive and strong on PC. So I was on one side of the map with a Shimakaze. We were trying to, take a cap, Meanwhile, the rest of the team goes on the complete other side of the map. So I'm completely alone, and this Kaga just dunks on me, and this is a tier 8 CV on PC. Just launches 4 torpedoes at my sides over and over. It ended up killing me.
Well, you said a few words there. Take a cap? What does that mean?
I know, that's like a foreign language, isn't it? Let me see if I can get you the Google Translate definition of that. What do I take? Do I take the window liquor language translated into English, or
the turpentine drinker?
Spud speak? Is that what it's called? I can't remember the name of the language.
I want somebody to make a meme of Joey from Friends. It's like, okay, get the cap. All right, get the cap. Did you say hunt damage? Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it'd be very helpful if destroyers would get the cap. That'd be nice, but
I don't know what's. I mean, I got a question for all three of you. What is worse, a destroyer that avoids the caps, chases battleships, or sits behind islands, cruisers who kite at the back of the map, spamming HE and doing nothing but shooting battleships, or battleships? Well, there's four options. Or battleships who reverse at the beginning and don't shoot at anything but broadside battleships, or carriers who back up at the start and don't do anything but hunt the other CV. What's the worst?
Carrier.
Do you think so?
It's a tear for me between carrier and battleships being useless.
I think mine is still DD.
Yes.
At
I
least
think it's
DD
DD.
spotting.
No, not if he's going around the edge of the map.
Well, once he gets there, though.
Okay, I'll give you that. I mean,
harassing them, throwing torps at him. If it doesn't kill them, it's in the back of their mind that DD's hunting them.
see, but dude, I don't know. You're giving. I think you're giving too much credit to that potato.
If the DD takes the cap, you can win the game.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
all
talking
he
about.
needs to
He
do.
goes. I'm talking about this guy goes around the cap, like back line, one line.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
remember,
worse.
it depends on what type of DD he's playing. If he's playing a French, he needs to be on that side. He needs to be on that flank. He needs to get as far up there as quick as possible.
I disagree. Even in French, I disagree. I don't know.
Take the cap before he does that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Even a French DD, I don't think needs to. I don't know. I can't stand DD players who just sail straight in, eat a torp, and then just die. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm used to all that. We're used to battleships being useless, DDs chasing damage, and cruisers kiting. But to me, dude, a CV that doesn't go spot the damn destroyer. Oh,
Okay, that's I guess it's on par with a useless DD player. I'm gonna start making these videos again. It's just your job in a fucking ship.
Speaking of destroyers, or CVs spotting destroyers, it blows my mind every time I've played a carrier since the update. Not a single destroyer has turned off its AA, and there were many times where I probably never would have saw it if it had.
I think the only ship I've done that for is the Summers, because it has an 11 AA rating. It's just permanently off in mine.
I do it every time there's a CV in the game. I turn off the AA. It can be helpful. It can sometimes mean the difference between being spotted and not being spotted.
Yep. I think there's a few times I've ran into one. I don't play carriers that much though, or DDs solo against carriers that much.
Yeah, I was trying to get a game, and what's the new CV that's out? The Pobeda?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when I was playing the CVs, because I find CVs pretty boring to play. I don't know what you guys think.
100%.
I like him.
Yeah?
Yeah, funny enough, I like him. Look, when they announced CVs, even though people hated them, and some people asked for it, I thought they'd bring a little spice to the whole thing. And even though they are there, they don't really bother me. Yeah, they try and talk me. But if you're open-minded, you look at them, you can avoid them. Just dodge. It's in the tips, dude. Look at the bottom right of your screen. Just dodge.
Just dodge, bro. I'll agree with you that I think Wargaming has actually, out of everything that's balanced or imbalanced, I think the CVs are the one thing that is the closest to being balanced as you can get.
They are a lot closer to being balanced in Legends than they are on PC. I'll say that. They've done a good job at making them not feel totally oppressive to play against all the time on Legends. Whereas on PC it's a complete nightmare. It's terrible. I've rage quit PC so many times. I've never rage quit on Legends.
You cannot say the same, but it wasn't because of the CV.
Come on,
I haven't
tell me.
played PC since I got raped by a carrier.
It's terrible, isn't it?
I was in Colorado and there's nothing I could do. I couldn't shoot anybody, and this carrier just kept flying after me, and he just raped me and raped me and raped me and raped me, and then finally I couldn't take any more and just deleted the game.
Yeah.
A question. Have you guys played the Saipan? Having had the... And
Once.
what's your view?
It's good in a division. In a
I thought
division,
it
it's
was-
good.
I thought it was pretty strong on its own.
I have played one game, so
The slow airplanes, like it's, to me, without a doubt, is better in a division, because if I've got Aaron and somebody else in front of me, maybe some other blueberry in front of me, I know that these guys are not going to get totally dunked on, and I'm able to work with, my cruiser player to burn a damage con on the biggest threat, which is a GK or a Yama or something, and then I can come in and I can drop him, and I can get a permaflood, because I think the Torps have a pretty good chance of flooding. I don't like the bombs. I kind of felt like they were useless. Sure, they did a little bit of something here and there, but it wasn't, in terms of taking damage off of ships, the Torps were where it's at. And trying to get the permafloods on battleships was pretty easy. So, we removed a GK in 2.5 minutes. Aaron burned a fire on him, got a double fire, the guy DC'd, I was circling, I came in, dropped him, got a double flood, which is only a single flood, whatever, but it's still a minute and 10 seconds of permaflood, the GK was dead.
And
Well, sure,
Wow.
but couldn't you take that logic about the division and apply it to any of the carriers that can cause floods and fires, though?
Yeah, like Pobeda, really, see, Pobeda is like, I think Pobeda is the best carrier for getting floods. And I think it's the sheer number of torps.
okay. I was gonna say
Saipan was really good at getting floods too, where Parsifal, I'm spec'd into torps and floods. Even if I hit the bow, I can hit him with 6 torps, and I'm not confident I'm going to get a flood.
Yeah, it does seem like the Saipan has a pretty good flood chance, and the Pobeda, those torps are insane.
Yeah,
I saw when it first came out, people are like, "Oh, they're too slow. They need buffs." It's like, get good. It is not that
Yeah.
hard.
it's not easy, but it's not hard.
Yeah, no, it's not like super, super easy, but it just takes a little bit of practice. Like, how about try dropping the torpedoes a few times before you start saying, "Oh, they need their speed increased." They do not.
Yeah, but that's the same type of players who are complaining about the Weimar being moved up to tier 7.
I can kind of understand that, in the sense, like, if the Weimar's your only tier 6 premium and you use it to grind credits, you're gonna lose some of that credit grinding efficiency when it moves up to tier 7. But other than that, I'm not like sympathetic to any of the arguments that the people are putting forward about why that shouldn't be done. It should have been at tier 7 at the start. I think it's
Yeah.
way too overpowered for tier 6.
Yeah, that's a great
What
point about
about-
the credits too.
What about the mines?
What about it?
It's like you said, it's going to fall out of the ship. That's going to become a dead ship.
No,
Maybe.
no.
But
It's
The mines
I
is-
don't know.
Mainz is better armored, at least, than the Weimar, isn't it?
yeah, but that's a bad thing. No?
I was gonna say yes, but that
Hmm.
equals deletion.
You
No
don't
armor,
think
best
it-
armor.
Des Moines shoots at mains, broadside, citadels. Des Moines
I
shoots
don't-
at Weimar, broadside's probably going to be overpins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Less armor is better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Will they give the Weimar a heal at tier 7?
That it is under discussion, and Wargaming said that is possible that it will not get it at tier 7.
Okay, because I don't think it needs it.
No, you
Oh,
don't
neither.
need it. It's a nice to have.
I don't think several of the tier 7 cruisers need heals. I don't think the Ochakov does, I don't think the Chapayev does, and I especially don't think the Kutuzov does. There are a couple Tier 7 cruisers I think don't need heals.
Yeah, from what I understand is that what Wargaming will be doing when they move up the Weimar, get the initial data, and if they see that the ship is dying too quickly, depending on how it's played, of course, if it's dying too quickly, they'll give it the heal. But if it doesn't, which it should not, it would still perform, and they will definitely take it away.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it should be fairly easy to survive in that thing for a while, I would think, even at Tier 7.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like that goes along with the carrier thing. Just like get good. I'm sorry. there's no way to say it. I said it earlier. If you can't play it at Tier 7, you don't know how to play it, and which means you probably don't know how to play it at Tier 6. If you think beating up on Tier 5 battleships in an overpowered Tier 6 is I mean, I guess maybe that's why you bought it. I don't know.
Yeah, Tier 5 battleships that literally can't do anything. I mean, just that HE will just pen them everywhere. At least at Tier 7, when it's seeing, I don't know, Vladivostok running around, at least that thing has like 45, 50 millimeter deck armor, so it can't pen it everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, just absolutely melts Tier 5 battleships. It's like a war crime, really. It's disgusting.
And I'll honest, that thing slipped through ST. It did.
Yeah,
how it did it.
I want to know, and I know a few super testers have told me, but like, does their feedback mean anything? Because both Weimar and Gorizia made it out in the same tier. Like, what?
Yeah, I've heard that the super testers don't necessarily get much of a say when it comes to balancing the ships.
Yeah, that's what they've told me as well.
So you fill in a form after you've done your session. You fill in a form, you give your view on the ship, you give your rating on the ship, if it's easy to play or not. Because it's also a function that the ship needs to be easy to be played. After you've done that, that's it. I mean, there's additional comments that we can discuss in the personal Discord, of course, in more detail, where the CMs are also there, and some of the guys talking about it and giving their input. And so there's some head butting here and there, but there's not a massive amount of, well, 90% of the STs said this ship is OP in this section. As Wargaming, we feel it's fine. They'll leave it like that. But after it's maybe released into the live, they'll review it again and see, well, this is a bit maybe OP in that specific regard, and they'll tune it down a bit.
Yeah, I get it. I think for the most part, they've done a decent job balancing certain things, but at legendary tier, like, I don't know. The nerf to the Kleber was a little excessive in my opinion.
Look, I was exclusively targeted for the Saipan because they asked who wants to do the Saipan, and I said I'll do it, knowing that we're going to be facing Des Moines. And the first 3 minutes I was deplaned. It was horrible. Through each and every session that I played, it was horrible. It must have been the biggest report that I've given about a ship on the problems it had, the things that I could include to make it a little better, to make it a little more competitive, especially when the Des Moines drop. You will see CVs get hurt. If you think the Minotaur, and you know this, Aaron, you've seen it, the Minotaur is not even a patch against the Des Moines. That thing shreds planes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. The Minnow is definitely better. It has a better, like, if you put in the first module slot as well, but the Des Moines is, I don't know. That ship is something else.
That's dirty on so many levels. That
I
should be
love
taken
it, but-
out of the game. It can't go up. It's already up there. You have to take it out of the game now.
Yeah. Just don't tell them that.
No, I won't. We all want that ship, let's be honest. It's like the Yamato when we wanted it. We got it. Now the Des Moines are here. And it's going to rule the seas. If there's three of them, just like
in competent players' hands, yes. But
Yes.
just like the Mino, just like the Montana, just like any ship except for maybe the Kurfürst, if you're sailing broadside, I pulled out in smoke and shot in my smoke firing penalty last night, and it's on stream. And I was spotted for 5 seconds. So Yamato took all but 2,000 of my health, from full health to 2,000. I was almost full health death struck because I got caught out of position.
yeah.
So
Fuck broadside, dude. I had an Alaska Deb strike me at a 15-degree angle off bow.
Ooh.
I went,
Yeah.
what the fuck? It was just his front guns, dude. But he hurt me.
I think it's just like the Weimar, or similar to the Weimar in the fact, well, maybe not, but it's similar to the Weimar in the fact that if you shoot at the thing, eventually it'll blow up. And the Des Moines definitely takes citadels on broadside. So if you miss position, if you are too aggressive, or if you get focused, it's not going to be as bad as previous cruisers.
I think there's when people start getting it, I think you're gonna have about a month where people are not gonna understand the bow angle that I've had to figure out the hard way. That's just like Stalingrad. Literally, just like Stalingrad. You are 10 degrees off bow, you can be citadeled, son.
The citadel on the Des Moines, if you've looked at it, it's way more exposed too than the Wichita. You know how those cruisers have that citadel that sort of looks like that, that platform that they stand on the Olympics. You know how there's like a center.
Yeah.
It looks like that. Yeah. But the Des Moines, the whole citadel is above the water, and it goes from like the first turret all the way to the rear turret, and it's significantly above the water, so it should be a lot easier to punish. And plus, it's got 27 millimeter sides, and those are going to get overmatched by all the 16-inch guns and higher.
You do have a 152 belt that runs up on that citadel plate, so. But yes, it get the top half of that is 27, which can get overmatched from 16 and higher.
Yeah, which was a curious nerf, I thought, because I looked at it on PC and it's got 30 millimeter side armor. But I was thinking maybe they did that because there's a bunch of battleships with 457 millimeter guns running around on PC, and all those overmatch 30 millimeters of plating, whereas there's one on Legends and then a bunch of 16-inch guns. So I suppose effectively it's sort of the same in terms of what's out there that can overmatch its armor, So I was thinking maybe that's why they nerfed it. But I thought it was a curious little armor nerf to the Des Moines when things like the Edinburgh, for whatever reason, got a ridiculous buff, and the Worcester with its 32 millimeter bow.
Yeah. Did they remove the Edinburgh Citadel?
I've noticed the same thing, yeah.
Did
feels
they
like
remove
it's not there.
Edinburgh?
Yeah.
I haven't shot at one in a long time.
We'll come back to this topic in about 2 minutes. Let me go find the clip real quick, and then you guys can watch it, and you can please explain to me how the Edinburgh has a citadel. Because I don't think it does anymore. I really don't think it does. I think they took it out and they didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, we were shooting at one today, and we had a bit of a problem trying to get that thing to die.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that happens with certain ships. Like I said earlier, I think they've gotten the newer ships, especially legendary tier, balanced correctly in terms of citadel. Maybe it's because it's raised. I mean, the Mino Citadel is literally half the boat. You can't miss it, but I feel like I citadel battleships and cruisers how I should, even the Worcester. But like for some of these, I don't know. You just shoot at broadside cruisers at tiers 5 through 7, even lower sometimes, and you're like, what am I hitting? What am I overpenning?
I'm creating a clip right now, guys. Everyone that's here listening, I'm gonna post it. We all can click it, and you guys can please explain to me. My brain is too stupid to wrap around this concept.
There's something that I've noticed as well, playing against let's say a Bismarck or a Tirpitz. We know where the turtle back is sitting. You know where to shoot just above it so you can get through to the citadel. Now I've shot at that specific spot and just above it, so it should not hit the turtle back. It doesn't hit the citadel, but when I aim waterline, I get a citadel, which is kind of fishy. But that's just me.
That's why I think training rooms would reveal a lot of these problems. I don't aim waterline anymore. I aim like upper belt, even when I'm trying to get citadels, like, knowing where to aim at waterline, because shells land short. And everyone who watches me, who watches Peak, knows I've said this 1,000 times. But I think auto aim, it causes your shells to land short.
I'm creating the clip right now, so 30 seconds. We're all going to click this and then explain this to me, because I don't understand. Copy to clipboard, go to Discord. All right, everyone, stage chat.
Here we go.
Please click that, watch it, and explain that to me. Please explain that.
Is this clickbait?
No. Explain that.
No, I'm joking.
They removed the Edinburgh Citadel and didn't tell anybody. Don't worry, I shoot at him again.
What? Yeah, that's RNG for you.
Where is the Citadel on the Edinburgh actually at? Because it looks like your shells don't actually hit the water line. They hit it up near the top and a little bit up near the bow.
Then watch the second shot.
Oh, the second shot? Because I was going to say, it looks like you were aiming at the water line, but the shells didn't actually hit there.
And then the second shot, explain to me how
I just
looks better.
Okay,
I just screenshotted one where at least one. I have two from that video that look like they hit waterline smokestack. I just screenshotted it. Hold on.
I've had that problem with other Edinburghs I've shot at too. I don't think I've hit a Citadel on an Edinburgh in a while.
If you zoom in on that picture, there's one explosion literally right at the waterline and one slightly above it. Again, RNG, this could be overpins, but also look at your face. But that's what I'm talking about. I don't aim waterline anymore. Unless I'm point blank, and even then, I have a clip in my Alaska where I aim 2 inches above waterline because shells land short.
See if I can.
Maybe if you used HE.
So everyone is saying the Edinburgh Citadel is a little further back. Guys, the smokestack, look at that in that clip. There's literally an explosion from the shell hitting on behind the second smokestack.
I'm looking at it frame by frame on a 50-inch TV, and I can tell you there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitting at the smokestack and a little bit above waterline on the first shot, and one's hitting directly at the waterline.
Have you submitted that to Wargaming?
The second
I just
salvo, it looked like at least one shell went right into the place where the Citadel's at.
Yeah, and so okay, you can make the argument, it overpinned when he was broadside. But then the second shot, the guy's at a 45-degree angle. That shouldn't overpin.
Yeah, that was a death struck right there. That second one was solid.
And it results in 5 overpins, 4 ricochets, and 1 penetration.
Oh, and I see what you mean by... I see what the people mean by the Citadels further back. It's it's kind of one of those raised Citadels, it looks like.
The Wichita?
Yeah, it's the big part is right underneath the smokestacks, but then the entire rest of it Looks like it extends from the rear turret all the way to the front turret, and it's like at the water line, a little bit above it.
That's absurd, dude.
I also just created a meme of Peak, and I didn't even mean to.
It's a good one, though.
You wouldn't be the first.
You want to tell these two about your squirrel hunting the last days?
Did you guys know that a pack of squirrels got into my attic and chewed my Ethernet cable?
Was that real? I thought that title was just like some kind of joke.
I'm literally Xarkun on the computer. My package shows up. I got a seat cushion. I go to pick it up. I'm unboxing it. I set it in my chair. I sit down, and my internet's off. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go out and I check the router. It's on. I still have Wi-Fi. Like, I'm still on Wi-Fi. That's working. So I have internet. And I'm like, okay, now I got to diagnose it. So then I go to my splitter, unplug that. My extender here, unplug that. That's not the problem. So then I go up in the attic and I chase back my cord. And I literally am like following this fucking cord like I'm looking at breadcrumbs in the attic. It's 85 degrees up there. And then I hit the end part of it, and there's teeth marks all in it. The insulation's ripped up. There's wires bitten in half. And I shine the flashlight up, and there's like 3 squirrels 5 feet in front of me.
So just like, what's up?
I tried to club one to death with a flashlight. They got spooked. They ran off. I went and grabbed my childhood pellet gun. I went out to the yard and I shot it at like 5 and 10 feet, so I knew exactly where it was hitting. And
unlike citadels.
Yeah. And
it's a above water citadel.
I've been playing Chris Kyle kills squirrels for the last couple days.
Damn, revenge is sweet.
Yeah.
Infestation of squirrels hungry for Ethernet cables.
Yeah.
I love how Brian put in the family vacation guy of the what?
Well, 3 of them are gone.
I mean,
oh, Ghazi, you're so sweet about the squirrel.
Ghazi.
The problem is, like, this happened like 6 or 8 months ago. A squirrel got in somehow, and I had somebody come up and seal it up, and then the squirrel got trapped up there, and I put out bait in a trap, like peanut butter and nuts and stuff in a squirrel trap to try and get him, and he would come in through the sides and he would trigger it, and I tried for a week to get him out of there with a trap, and it didn't work. So I ended up just taking the gun up there and shooting it. Problem resolved in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
versus a week of going back and forth to the fucking attic, replacing peanut butter and resetting a trap,
That's crazy, though.
And especially after they chewed my Ethernet cable, dude, it's war. It's 100% it's on, it's war, you're dead, you're dying, you're getting fucked, dude. Like, you don't chew my Ethernet cable.
Well, yeah, I'd probably shoot a squirrel, too, if it chewed my Ethernet cable.
Oh, fuck, it was like a $40 cable. And so now I spliced it together, but, like, it's really shitty. And instead of doing 600 megs up and down, I'm doing 90. Because my splice wasn't great.
What are you running internet-wise, Rogue?
Oh, me. I'm running only at 10.
Yep. Poor Peak at 90.
Poor
Well,
him.
if you've got 600 and you can't use it because of a fucking squirrel, then guess what? Every squirrel that's in my backyard in the next 2 weeks is going to get shot.
I'm running 10 down and, no joke, a 1 up. Yeah,
That's
you might think of, but over here, it's good.
Well, I mean, I streamed off of a mobile hotspot, so I know the struggles. Don't remind me of bad internet. or slower internet.
Mine's
Yeah, look.
doing 101.7 in download and 11.3 in upload right now, according to Google.
Yeah, you see, you and me, we're basically the same.
Yeah, and it's pretty good.
I'm actually running, well, I don't know if my service provider is sleeping or what, but I'm running like sometimes between 14 and 15. And when I download things, it's actually showing way quicker than it should.
Hey, Brian, shut the fuck up.
Brian talking again? Brian, who gave you permission to talk?
Yeah, what if Ghazi trained all those squirrels? He put treats on the next to Ethernet cable. They've been trained to.
You're a pretty shitty squirrel trainer.
Why? They're all dead?
They all lost. The moment I started trying, they all lost.
Damn. All right, gentlemen. Well, I think I'm gonna hop off here.
Yeah.
It's been 2.5 hours.
Really good. 2.5. I think it's more like 3.5. But it was enjoyable. I mean, we covered a hell of a lot of subjects.